Hello there everybody. If you're looking for more action in your Cardfight Vanguard playtesting, or maybe you need some singles to finish out that deck, feel free to check out Ultra Reality Games, aka ARG. There's a link in the description down below that will take you directly to their website, where you will be able to find singles, articles, event information, and more. The ARG Circuit Series is still ongoing, so feel free to check out that website for the latest information, because who knows, maybe one of their regionals will be near your location. So feel free to check them out. Take care, guys.
What is going on, YouTube? Team Gradelock here. I'm your host, Enrico. I guess you're doing my wonderful vision. This is just miss you, love you. We're here doing a deck profile, and the reason why this deck hasn't been touched by the ban list with my little Canadian robot, aka John, aka Degrassi, aka Drake. Can't see me. And here we go.
Yep. Yes, it did make some sort of an impact. It stopped it from running 4 Night Runners, which cut off a lot of its speed. But the difference is that it just turned into a regular Grade 1 Rush deck with just a tiny bit more speed. But either way, just to get into profile, we start with Peter the Ghosty. The main reason you do this, in contrary to Gina, is because this gives you the draw and the mill, which will essentially set you up in both ways a lot faster. Yes, you do lose him, but the same would happen for Gina. His ability is kind of us 1, shove to soul, mill 2, and draw 1. So you get resources in drop as well as resources in hand to use. So that's kind of the main reason that I want to run Peter. And then you start also with Night. Don't start, because you can't start with Night Runner. You run 1 Night Runner because you have to. His effect is that when you have a 7 Seas Vanguard during the beginning of your main phase from the drop zone, you mill 4 and call him his rest. This is good because it gives you a unit on the board as well as 4 units in drop zone in order for you to use, therefore setting you up to be able to do your plays when you need to, and this can just really be spammed a lot. And mind you, you think running 1 you aren't going to see it, but the next card is the reason why you'll see it a lot. You run 4 Chappie the Ghosty. Yes, it is slower, but the fact that with Chappie you're able to just guard with him and then mill any card you want from your deck, it lets you mill Night Runner significantly faster, and therefore is able to let you set up your drop zone with whatever you want and set up your play significantly faster. Again, yes, it is slower, but in technicality this is 4 more Night Runners and you just need to guard with it. So that's why he's in the deck, and there's really no repercussions into running the card. It just sets up your engine a lot faster, and with any other cards that you need. Then you run 4 Cody the Ghosty. When your unit is put into the drop zone that is not him, you can counterblast 1 and call him back. So it does stupid plays with Nightcrow in order to power up Night Spinal even more. But besides that, he's just there to be a crit. You run the Banshee crit because she goes into soul and draw, and also because she's a crit. But the main reason you run her is because she's a crit. And then you run 4 Night Spirit because he's also a crit. 12 crit, and I understand that most 7 Seas Grade 1 Rush decks would be running 16, but you also need to at least make room for Performing Zombie, because Performing Zombie also sets up your drop zone. On play, he lets you check the top 10 cards of your deck and mill 1 to the drop zone, so he lets you set up even better. And yes, running a stand trigger in a Grade 1 Rush deck is kind of weird, but with attack patterns and you using Slash Shade, they can stand the boosters for Slash Shade. Now we finally move on to Grade 1s, and we're going to be here a while because there's a lot of them. You run 4 Raise Rooter. You don't really use him for his skill, you just use him for the fact that he's a Grade 1 7 Seas on the Vanguard Circle, because you need 1 on your Vanguard Circle to do anything. But his effect is rest him, and you put the top card of your deck to the drop zone, and if it's a card with 7 Cs, you choose up to 1 of your cards from the drop zone with the same grade and call it to open rear. So I guess it's okay to try and chance to call more units, but you really just want to run it because it's a 7 Cs Grade 1. You don't really want to run it really for any other reason. But you do use this guy. You run 4 Nightcrow, while also being another 7 Seas Grade 1. He will also just come on the board and fix columns for no reason, and with the fact that you run Night Runner, he replaces Night Runner and puts him back into the drop zone so that you're able to use him again and maintain an actual booster for the turn where he's supposed to be coming in as rest. So that's why Nightcrow is a little important. Then 4 Greedy Mimic, 9k attackers, not much more to say. These behind a 7k make 16, so you kind of have to run them because for that reason. Then for Evil Shade, this card's also important because it actually lets your Vanguard hit a good number on your opponent's 11k in order to be able to hit them. It's a 10k booster, so your 7k and this behind it will hit 17 against your opponent, and also mill you 2 cards. So that's the other good reason for it. The milling on top of the power is just honestly what makes this good, but it can only boost the Vanguard if you want to mill 2 and give +4. Then you run 2 Samurai Spirit. This is a little weird considering we're running Nightcrow and it's just the free version of Samurai Spirit. But the reason that you run Samurai Spirit is because of the fact that oftentimes you don't mill your Nightcrow fast enough, and you often have to chance it with Night Runner. So giving yourselves more options to mill to the drop zone to be able to use your cards is better for you. Considering that this card and only one of your other cards uses Counterboss in the deck. Well, one more, but you really don't use the Counterboss too much. Either way, it's important just because it's a quote-unquote second Nightcrow. Then you run 4 Slash Shade. Obviously, this is important because Slash Shade doesn't require a specific grade for Vanguard in order to call out. So when these things hit the drop zone and your grade and your 7C's Vanguard attacks, you can just counterblast 1, kill something, and then call this. So it just gives you more attacks in a deck that's not even supposed to attack you more than 3 times, considering this is just a grade 1 rush deck. But Slash Shade is just good because he puts himself at the tier where he's able to hit your Vanguard without needing a booster. But if you hit a stand trigger, it's just even better. So it's good for that. And then Night Spinal. Night Spinal is great because she makes use of the dead cards in your hand very, very well. Her ability is that from the drop zone, you could send 1 7Cs from your hand to the graveyard in order to call her from the drop zone. And every time a card is called, she gets +2. So that a 7C's card is called, she gets +2. And that just makes it even better because this is just like very, very, very strong, because the fact that you're abusing Nightcrows and Night Runners the whole time, this thing is going to become significantly powerful to the point where it is able to attack the Vanguard on its own, and then it becomes the perfect self-alone sacrifice for Slash Shade in order to keep the booster if need be. But the main reason is that in a grade 1 7C's deck, you're not able to actually use your grade 2s to guard, so she's able to discard them to the grave in order for them to be safely put into the drop zone. So that's why she's important. And then your 2 of grade 3s, you run 1 of the Prisoner Dragon. His effect is that it's basically Slash Shade, except you have to kill a grade 2. So that's also very good because of the fact, oh, and it also gains +2, putting it at 13. This is honestly really, really good because the fact that more Slash Shade targets in deck means that you will be able to use, the ability to be able to attack your opponent multiple times, and that +3 is irrelevant sometimes because of the fact that if you're able to mill it early and you have a 7k behind it, it actually makes a 20k column against their 9k. So it actually creates pretty pressuring numbers. So that's why you run it. And then 1 Pleasurton, because Pleasurton you're able to counterblast 2 from drop zone, Superior Ride it, and then on call you're able to call something from the grave. So it gives you some sort of end game. Hopefully you won't have to get to this point, but just having the option in your drop zone in order to be able to ride and then be able to potentially kill your opponent while maybe following up with the stride is good. And Pleasurton is good there for the option to do it. And then I could explain it, but let's be honest, guys, you really don't go into your stride zone at all because you don't stride in this deck. You stay at grade 1 the whole time. I mean, to be honest, the only things you would ever go into if you ride Pleasurton is Night Mist or the on-hit stride or Ghosty to mill you cards. But you really don't ever have to go into this, and the reason that you actually keep a stride zone is just to be able to G-assist. That's literally the only reason. But besides that, that's the deck, guys. I understand that this is a little bit delayed considering that 7C's just got hit, but the reason that I wanted to do this was that I wanted people to understand that this deck is not dead, and the reason for that being is because Chappie still exists in order to be able to mill Night Runner, and people just have to know how to play around this deck in order to be able to make sure that they know how to play against grade 1 decks, because they are the epitome of this game, but you just need to know how to play around them. But that's it, guys. I want to appreciate you guys for watching, and I would like you to please leave a like and comment on these videos, and if you can take the time to do it, please check out ARG, the link in the description to their website, But besides that, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.
And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to check out Ultra Reality Games, aka ARG. There's the link in the description down below so you can check out their Cardfight Vanguard product, event information on the ARG Circuit Series, and articles on the competitive Cardfight Vanguard scene. Check them out and take care.